how to create, post, present, and get response grades from, or participation grades from Menti, Mentimeter. They call a presentation a Menti in D2L. D2L does have the ability to add Mentimeter links now, but I recommend building it in Mentimeter.com. So go there and log in and click on New Menti, and I'm just going to make mine from scratch. And I'm going to make a title slide at first with the content slide section text. And I'm going to call it Lecture 1. And I'm going to select that and copy it because I'm also going to use that for the presentation title. There, Lecture 1, Lecture 1. And now I'm going to make another slide, another content slide, where I'm going to have slide 1. I'm just being generic. I mean, yours is going to be for real. And I'm going to make a bullet point for point 1. And I'm going to actually have 3 points in this slide, but I want them to be animated, and Mentimeter doesn't have animations. So the way I do it is I have 3 slides, one with point 1, one with point 1 and 2, and one with point 1, 2, and 3. You'll see in a minute. Okay, so I'm going to make that to the top. I like to have it to the side. And I also want a picture in it. I'm going to be talking about in my points. So that's a content image. I'm going to click on that. You can upload them. But I'm going to go to the image library. I'm going to be talking about an orange. And there it is. And I'm just going to crop it a bit, just the way I want it. And going to save it. Now, when I save it, they think it's just for design. Like, just they don't think I want to be talking about this as content. So they just put it off to the side like that. I don't think it looks that good, but that's what the intent is, that they assume. Even though they call it a content image. The way to change that is layout. So click on layout. I actually want it in this one side by side. When I do that, it kind of jumps this down again. And when you click it, you think, well, where's my menu? But if you click outside and then inside again, you'll get the menu back. And so I want that back up. And so there's my first slide. And now I'm going to make a duplicate of this slide. And that's this triple dot over here. And duplicate. And then I'm going to go into the second slide. And that's where I'm going to put in point 2. And then I'm going to make a duplicate of that one and go into there. And now I'm going to go into the third slide, point 3. And by the way, let's go back to the very first slide. I want to turn off the QR code. If you're just using Mentimeter without D2L, then you need a QR code so the students can get their phones and then look at the QR code and get in and participate. And that still works, and you can still do that. But I'm showing in this video how to put it in D2L. So we're not using QR codes. And by the way, students can still use their phone. They have to go in through D2L. That's the app on the phone is called Pulse. And then when they launch the Mentimeter, Mentimeter is not it's attached to D2L, but it's not a D2L thing. So they have their own web page. So even when students click on the Mentimeter or the Menti in Pulse, it launches a web app, a browser. And so they interact, but they're already logged in. That's the point. So they don't have to use a QR code. Now, on my created slides, it doesn't have that on these content slides. But if I make my last slide I want to make is a word cloud. And because I'm going to ask for their muddiest point. And when I added that, it did have a QR code. So I'm going to make sure that that's off. Okay, so my question is muddiest point. And then I want to add some interactivities. So that's this button here, participating. I want to add the ability to, they can just click on these little icons if they are feeling cat-ish, or if they like my content, or if they have just a question and they just want to, they don't want to, I'm going to show in a minute that we're going to enable question and answer where they can actually type their question. But this is just, I have a question, and they can say somebody has a question. But then I'm going to have a thumb up and a thumb down so they can give me those. And I don't have a moderator. Like, I have a grad student that can moderate while I'm teaching. I don't have that, so I'm just going to leave that off. I'm going to enable live chat. You may not use all these. I just want to show you how they work. And then participate using required to log in, don't use this because we're already logging in through D2L, and this Mentimeter login system is just going to confuse that. So just leave it as is. I am going to ask that they have their names required. It doesn't actually have it for everything, but sometimes for some things it does have it, and I just keep everybody honest. I'm going to turn that on. And now I'm going to just preview this. That's this little eyeball. This is what it looks like for a student. This is what it looks like for me. And they ask for a name right off the bat, so a student could put in their name. And then I'm going to go to the next slide. Oh yeah, they got to do that. So my name is Andrew. Good. It went to the first slide, and then I could say, oh yeah, I like that, or I have a question, or I think this is really good, or I don't like this point, or I'm feeling cattish. I could send a comment. Hey, blah blah blah. And the comment is there. It says my name, Andrew, and there's the comment. I could open up a Q&A. I could ask a question. Why point one? And there's as an instructor, I'd say, oh, somebody has a comment. Let's take a look at that, or a question. Sorry, and then I could explain it. Well, the reason is blah blah blah, and I could either hit enter or enter on my keyboard. Either would answer that, and then I'm just going to close it until I get a new question. And that's about it. And so then when I go to my next slide, or down here, then I'm going to talk about point 2, and then I'm going to talk about point 3, and then I'm going to have what is my muddiest point, and I'm going to say point 1, and when I put it, it goes there. And then if more people say point 1, it's going to get bigger. If another person says point 2, it'll be smaller. That's how the word cloud works. Okay, so I'm satisfied that this is what I want. And then I'm going to go back to D2L, and I'm going to actually click on, I made a module called Mentimeter Presentations, and in their existing activities, go down to Mentimeter link. And even though I could theoretically create it in here, I recommend creating it in the browser with bigger space. And then go down to lecture 1 and select it. And this is an important question. I'm going to put it graded. You might say, well, why is it graded? I don't even have a question to ask. I want to get participation points. I'm marking that as participation. Or I could do just attendance. But I can only do that if I pick graded. If it's anonymous, I don't get any of those. Attendance, participation, grades, nothing. So that's what I'm choosing. Add Menti. They call it a Menti, and there it is. And so I'm going to launch it. I click on it, and it's going, and then I'm going to hit Start Presentation, and it takes up my whole screen because that's what's being presented to students. And so now students will go in. I'm just going to log in as a couple of the students. And I'm going to go to the next slide, and I'm going to say, yeah, here's my point, here's my point, here's my point, and then I'm going to get to my muddiest point. So the student might say point 1, and another student might say point 1, and see how it gets a little bit bigger. I guess it's not really that kind of pulse. But then I'm going to have another student do point 2. I'm doing it on my phone here. Just take a minute to launch. There. So this is the different size. And now when I'm done, I just go end presentation. And you have to hit the escape key on the keyboard. You can't click to get rid of this. Got to hit the escape key. And now I see that I have some results. So I'm going to click on those results. And I could see that different people participated. And I'm going to sync those results to the LMS. That's to D2L in our case. So I click that. And I could just do attendance. Did you do something? Or I'm gonna just do a participation. You can choose either one. And sync results. Get syncing. Now I can go look. If I go into grades, there is one called Lecture 1, and every one of my students participated, and they get 100% because and it's always out of 100 because they all participated. If somebody missed out and didn't participate, they wouldn't get anything. Or if they didn't even log on, If I did attendance, it's if they logged on. This one is if they did something, if they participated. And that is Mentimeter